welcome everybody, and we've already been opened up, so we're going to move right into our agenda. So we're down at minutes of previous meeting, regular council. Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councillor Caldwell. The minutes of the November 3rd, 2015 council meeting be approved. All in favor? Okay. All right. Additional items. Anybody got any additional items? Yes. I might have one. Ron has one. Okay. Ron has one. Yes, not. Please. Is it related to IPM?
It might have.
Oh. I have. Why don't we just put an IPM update right on here?
That'd be good. That'd be good.
I have one, Mayor Bridge.
Two. Oh, okay. Well, most of the stuff will be additional items. Okay. Moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Councillor Anderson. The Town of Minto Council convenes in the committee of the whole. All in favor? Carried.
This is the wrong. Sorry, carry on. No, I'm on the wrong agenda, but that don't mind me.
Okay. All righty. There's no public meetings. We have delegations, and we'll start off with Harrison Kinsman Club donation. Sorry. Okay. Well, you want to come up, and I'll come down, and this is a pleasure to get this. I actually had a nice meal at the Kinsman Club. Actually, I got another check there along that. It's a real check, right?
Yes, that's right.
And thanks for coming, Paul. Did you want to say anything about this? One of these mics works.
I'd like to thank the town for the opportunity to be here to do this presentation today. It was a project the Kinsman Club strongly believed in, and as a little kid I remember being in that building a lot, renting movies and whatever. So when the fire happened, that was sad to see, and it was nice that I was really glad when the town came to us about this project, and it was great working with the town. Hopefully we can work together again in the future.
Thanks, Paul. And I just from the town standpoint, this is what it's all about. And I point out the Kinsman about one of the groups that we get to work with in public and private enterprises. And I know this is, raising $25,000 is no easy feat. And you did over the 5 years, and we got the check the other night. And I thought it'd be nice to have a presentation here at council. I appreciate the Kinsmen and all they've done over the years and continue to do. So hopefully everything goes well with your club. Thank you. You already got it in.
Move them together.
What?
Yeah.
Die.
Them together closer.
Let them hug each other.
I don't want a photo bomb.
And we're going to enjoy the Tannery Park tonight because we're doing light up the town tonight.
Looking forward to that.
Up there, right?
Is that where we're meeting?
Can we move back, Bill?
Tannery Park.
Good.
Thanks. You don't have to hang around.
Oh, the meeting's so interesting.
Have them stay. They're a lot of fun.
Take care.
Don't try and cash that check.
That was great. Now we have Marcellus. Would you like to come up? And he's a professor at the School of Engineering in Guelph and Harrison Wastewater Treatment. And this is very, very interesting subject. So you can take a seat there. Or how do you want to do it? It's up to you.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Mayor and member of the Township of Minto Council. If you want to kill the teacher, let them sit. We can't sit. We have to move to talk.
That's fine. That's the problem.
So,
as long as we get you in the camera there somewhere. I don't know which one's going to pick you up.
One there.
You're getting
okay,
it. We've got you.
Okay, I'm good. So I normally start my presentation with a little bit of rant because my favorite TV icon is Rick Mercer, which is awesome. So according to the UNESCO, by year 2030, number of college and university graduate equals to what has been graduated from the beginning of history.
Oh.
By 2030. What would that tell us? That by 2030, degree means nothing. And if you look at the job application that you give for the certain position within the township or cities, you start to see more higher educated people, they start to apply for more low job kind of positions. And that's going to get worse. Now, how can we utilize those resources is a big challenge. And the only thing that is going to happen is by engagement. Engagement. And that's what we did here at the town of Minto for the wastewater treatment plant is example of that. Just getting different people involved in the process, and we get things going, and they get a great job done. So here I would like to thank Brian. Working with you is awesome. Other member of the town, Mark Robinson, Daryl, Wayne, I appreciate all your help. Todd Rogers. We also get the cost of the study covered by talking to local utilities. So these funding are available to all the municipalities. In fact, I was on the board of one of the IESO, previously known as OPA, that to extend this funding for another 5 years, which is great, because in past 5 years, no one utilized those money efficiently. In fact, the first city that went after it in 2013 was City of Greater Sudbury. And over 2 years, they managed to get close to $500,000 incentive. Amazing. Regional Waterloo, 120, City of Brantford, 150, and can go on and on and on. So that's where the cost of this study came, working with the local utility, in this case with Stereo Power. So how many of you know where is the Harrison wastewater treatment plant? Have you been there?
Yeah.
You all?
Oh yeah, been there.
Great. So this is the, I need to back up a little bit. I dream about wastewater, I breathe about wastewater, and I live with wastewater. So city of town of Harrison has two kind of waste stream. Domestic, which is coming from the household, and industrial, which is coming from some of the local industry. The capacity is very at around 300 meters cube per day. Average day flow is 1,200, which is great. There are 3 lagoons that here, if I can use this, well, okay. The first lagoon is the one that has a diffuser, and then go on second lagoon and third lagoon and get discharged. Okay. Here, all the biological process, the way that how the wastewater works, very simple. We use the bugs in order to get rid of some of the contaminants. But the problem is some of these bugs, they can't get rid of certain chemicals or drugs that we are discharging to the wastewater. So we need a better wastewater system in place to deal with those. For example, for the people that they use the heart medications, that some of that medication is absorbed 30 to 40% to the body, and the rest get discharged through the urine or fecal matter. Where did those chemicals end up? In the wastewater treatment plant. And some of our wastewater treatment plant, in fact, none of them are able to remove them. Comes in and leaves. Where it's going to end up? Either go to the receiving body. Down the road, we use the same water to treat them, or goes for the land application as a fertilizer. So either way is something that we need to deal with. In case of Harrison, they get disinfected and also get discharged on the occasional basis. So what we did in the town, we said, okay, how can we address that? We look at the wastewater treatment plant, and we have the Rosswich pump station. So we have VFD, we have a great pump with a great efficiency at the pump station. But the problem is that we are using the sensor that we already have, or we are using VFD, which is a variable frequency drive that increases the speed up and down. We are using it as a switch, on and off switch. So that's where we are trying to have some plan in order to use the VFD the way that it's supposed to, rather than using it as an on and off switch. So there is an annual saving of $1,000 by just moving those sensors to the higher level. And then we moved on to the wastewater treatment. Now, what we did in the wastewater, there are 4 blowers. If you went to the blower room, I'm pretty sure you had the earplug. It was that loud. And because those blowers are extremely old and they are in the bad shape, So we look at their efficiency. The blower 1 is 30%, which if you buy the brand new blower today, you're talking about 75 to 80%. And the same thing applies to the blower 2, the 35% efficiency, blower 3, 37, and blower 4, meaning that all of those blowers need to be replaced. But is that the solution to this problem? And the question is, at the end, and the answer is no. So we look at the other efficiency and what we can get by replacing the new blower to the old blower with a new blower. If we replace the blower number 1, we have a $3,000 a year saving. For the blower 2, we are looking at $7,000, blower 3, $6,000, and blower 4, another $6,500, which are significant by replacing those. Then what we did, we took it further. Okay, what are the options? Now, the problem with the Harrison wastewater treatment plant, that if you look at those diffusers that they are in the lagoons, they are open pipe. They are not diffuser. We can't even call them diffuser. They are just an open pipe with the impeller inside. When air blows, those impeller rotates and disperse the air, right? But they are not diffuser, meaning what? That if you stop your blower, you can see the changes in the wastewater level goes down. And 2 of the blower working non-stop just to prevent the wastewater from pushing backward. So the whole system has a problem. So we look at the different scenarios. So if you replace the blower and keep the existing diffuser, is not going to solve the problem. We look at the different scenarios here using the surface aerator. Just get rid of all those diffuser. We put a surface aerator, and we are looking at this annual saving of $32,000, which is significant. Then we look at the whole scenario that, okay, what will happen if we change the raw sewage pump or optimizing it? We talk about the saving that we get from that scenario. We said, okay, if we want to replace all the blower, do we really need to replace them all? Or we can only replace one of them. If we replace one of the blower with a 60 horsepower blower, the saving alone with that is almost 40 grand. And then we went to the surface aeration and upgrading the existing diffuser to a surface aerator. That translates to $54,000 incentive for saving. We wrote a report, we did analysis, and we submitted to the Westerio and IESO, and I'm happy to say that the project got approved, meaning those incentives are available to the town. That they are for the horseback blower, they are covering up to $39,000, and for the aeration system up to $54,000. And the cost of replacing those old diffuser with the surface aerator, we are looking at $75,000 to $70,000, which is significant for the small municipality like Minto. Am I good on timing? Okay, good. I'm open to any question if you have.
Questions?
Sure. Right?
Just, sir, you mentioned about the heart medicine.
Sure.
I read a report out of the States that said there was they had a list of drugs that they were really concerned about poisoning their whole system. I believe birth control pills was another one that was caused a huge issue down there. What are our main drugs? Is there such a thing as an education program to get people not to put them? Because they should take them to the drugstore to get destroyed, right?
No, it's from the body.
It's being treated by the body. It's like
No, I realize that, but it's not just excreted by the body that the issue is.
The short answer to this question is a loaded question, because we are talking about pages and pages and of a list of chemicals. Ibuprofen is one of them. That people, they don't think about that. Plus, if you contact Health Canada tomorrow and ask them, okay, what's the drug consumption rate in Ontario? We are not talking about the kilos anymore. We are talking about tons for certain drugs. You won't get a straight answer how much we are consuming. because those numbers are very
Interesting.
drastic. That if and we can use them, in fact, for to develop the educational booklet for the public. In a sense that for any simple headaches, they don't need to get or grab a medicine. But we are not there yet. And it's very hard to come up with some of those data to educate the public. So, and some of the drug is just, as I said, comes in and leaves. There is no treatment because our plant, wastewater treatment plant, is not designed to get rid of these chemicals or drugs. The only thing that can deal with them is a proper filtration process, and that's membrane. But how many people, how many municipalities, they are affording to go with that process? They are very, very limited municipality. In this area, we have none of them. None.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any data on actual toxicity that's been caused by those things, like any dig toxicity or things that can be reported that can be absolutely attributed to consumption from water? I'm assuming it's water that's coming back through, so you'd be getting it from drinking your water.
Right. There are toxicity tests. There are toxicity tests.
I'm aware
right?
there's tests, but is there any data saying how often this is actually happening from the water?
Well, yes and no, because we are relying into some of the European experience on this topic, and we know that the way that how they are consuming drugs is different than us. So we have to have our own, but in a very systematic approach. Wastewater treatment plant, it used to be looked at as a black box. Nobody cares what's going on inside. Right. But everybody cares what goes to the receiving body. So that for the first time, with the help of City of Ottawa, Hamilton, and City of Guelph, we in fact focused on what is going on within the wastewater treatment plant. So in terms of toxicity, we have to look at toxicity of the different drugs is different. Right? So that's a very complicated situation.
But it is, because I work in dialysis too, and I'm thinking
That's
the
right.
amount of filters you'd have to put in, you basically have to put an RO system and filter
Correct.
everything out that would
Correct.
be.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Owen Sound, for example, Owen Sound, the wastewater treatment plant discharge is almost 900 meters upstream the water treatment plant. So if there is the old mentality, dilution is a solution to the problem. Right? For something, if it goes wrong in Owen Sound, all the junk that goes from the wastewater get to the drinking water system, and the drinking water system is not able to remove it. As simple as that.
Ron, and then
Ron.
You're recommending that we upgrade to our system, and how sooner than later? What do you suggest?
Well, we already have the incentive run. We got the incentive that, and we are going through the numerous exercise here. If we want to upgrade the blowers, we have the incentive. More than 70% of that is covered. The same thing applies for the surface aerator. And also we are working, actually, we are going after the conservation fund. And that will be a $700,000 project that we tried to initially started in Clifford, but after talking to the operator, we decided to move it to Palmerston. Because the way that how we structure it, if the equipment works the way that we think is going to work, we will keep it there, and you have a $700,000 asset right there that can be utilized. We got the initial approval from the OPA, and also we got the approval from Vestario to move forward with that project.
Okay.
And we have other municipality impact on board as a part of the steering committee, like Waterloo North Hydro. They want to see the result. Bill?
This may be a question that Brian could answer, but in our upcoming capital budget, which will be in the next few months, then we would probably see proposals for the 5 jet aerators. Correct. And perhaps the pumps, and then there would be a certain amount that we would have to pay, and then a certain amount that would come from the subsidy, correct?
That's correct.
So, but in addition to that, just to be clear, you have a system that you're working on to deal with the drugs, and I'm not sure we explained that fully to council.
Sure.
Because you explained it to me
right
briefly. So that's part of the 700,000, the next stage, right?
Correct.
And I wasn't sure that council understood that part, that
Okay.
the
Okay.
system to take out the drug concern that you raised is
You want me to talk?
independent of
Mhm.
that.
Sure, I can do that. So, okay, that was my concern. So these are totally two different projects. Okay, two different projects. Harrison is different, and the incentive was about only Harrison upgrade. And then we come up with, okay, how for the small municipality, the system that we developed, and we want to pilot it. So the system, the way that how it works. Any of you has a Dyson vacuum at home? Okay, works like a Dyson. The principle is the same. We pump the wastewater to this something similar to Dyson, and there are numerous cyclones with a different diameter that remove all the solids. And what comes out of it, we will treat it with the advanced oxidation process, which is a mixture of ozone, pure oxygen, and UV. And those are the proven technology to deal with drugs. So that's something that will be piloting at the Palmerston wastewater treatment plant.
So not filtering it out, treating it with.
No, we are just treating it, oxidizing. That's correct. That equipment stays there. My goal is I enjoy it to the level working with this municipality that I want to bring this in the name of Minto back on the map in a good way.
Yeah, good idea.
So I'm sorry to drag this out, but this is really not just fascinating, but
Mhm.
really important stuff. So we've got that system going to set up to work in Palmerston.
Correct.
Okay. It's a totally different system in Palmerston than it is in Harrison and Clifford.
That's correct.
So what's our answer to Harrison and Clifford?
Well, we will get to that. And then I have to highlight it that that's the first system
It's a pilot.
in North America.
No, I realize that.
In North America.
Okay.
No one has done that process
Okay.
before. That's the first one.
So
first
we're
So it
one.
would only be for the one community then to start with.
We are using it as a pilot project,
Right.
and then we can just expand it. That's why even the OPN or IASO and utility, they are interested in the result. Because we are targeting to reduce 50% of the energy consumption at the wastewater treatment plant. And that's significant. That's significant. For example, for the place like Gulf wastewater treatment plant, that they're spending a few $100,000 a month. 50% is huge. It's huge.
But no, we have two separate issues here then. We're
Sure.
looking at hydro reduction and we're looking at drug filtration or treatment or.
They are all part of the one system.
Okay.
Wastewater system, we cannot separate them. They are all integrated system. We have to have a system that can give us proper clean water at the same time, consume less energy. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Just one more thing.
Sure.
I think they should be paying us to do this,
Oh,
so we can give out the
They are.
recommendations.
well, I kind of think they are, because if you look at the fact that we're going to get this recommendation, to me, it's a no-brainer. Your payback period is 4, 5.4, and 1.4 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, our treasurer gets really excited, because then the money, then that savings comes back to our treasury to help us in a lot of other things. And I would love to be a pilot in one of these things, and we're a pilot in our energy in our store, and so we love to be in the leading edge.
Awesome.
So, back, we're already there, Brian.
Yeah,
but-
say,
Let's
We're
enhance
there
it.
big time.
Yeah, like
Enhance.
enhance
That's
and
better.
enhance,
That's
and
better.
whatever. Yeah.
We never left.
So we're always getting paid.
But no, I think it's great, and it's part of being part of West Ontario. The biggest problem we've got in West Ontario, we have a mandate to reduce energy consumption. It's kind of a strange thing they would give somebody that actually lives off putting energy out there with the mandate to reduce energy going out there, but it's our system. But at the same token, we have a hard time finding places to try to get these big wins like this.
That's right.
This is a big win, and that, we can do as many light bulb changes as we possibly can, but this becomes a big win in how we reduce our dependency on our electricity, which again goes back to we get renewable energy and all the other stuff. So I think it's a win-win. So thanks for the presentation. I was when I read it, I was pretty excited about it. And then I'm glad about this chemical and drug thing because that was new. I didn't really pick that up. So that's super. Any other questions?
We could ask them all night. But
And I guess now this goes to budget, and we want to get this going as soon as possible. I assume if we get the budget passed, right? Yep, super. Thanks for coming.
very much. Thank you, Professor.
Thanks very much.
And another great University of Guelph thing, eh?
Sure, why not?
Thank you. That's why not. Okay, where are we now? Public question period. She would let the only public person leave. Oh. We gotta get back to work. Okay. Correspondence received for information. Is there anything there that I had written down?
There's
I
two
did
donation
too.
requests.
What?
2 donation requests. Do we?
Canadian
Canadian
Diabetes
Oh, yes.
Association
and the St. John's ambulance.
I'm gonna let me go through them. Anything on the Friends of the Green Belt, any diabetes? We're gonna talk about that, eh? Let's do that first. Oop. That's not something we've done in the past, Gord. No, I'm. I'll let
I don't
somebody
think
else
we
talk
should.
to it at first.
Mayor Bridge, if you'd like, if this is one that council would like to be pulled and reported on, we can do that either at the next council meeting or at budget.
Yeah, I personally go ahead.
I was just going to say, like Canadian Diabetes, Canadian Cancer, they're wonderful organizations, Heart and Stroke. And I think that, and we promote everyone in Minto to donate to these funds, but I'm not sure that as a council, we should be donating.
Well, and
I
maybe
agree
organizations.
100%.
and maybe for the new councilors, I mean that's sort of what our position was last council was.
I
These
agree.
are things that we personally can be involved in.
I
If they need a road closure for something or this or that, we try to help out. But I don't. Everything would be
We'd
coming
be
out.
here
of
all
it.
night. every
So
night, yeah.
if I don't think we need a report, if that's what I'm saying, we basically that's sort of been a consideration. Unless you want to bring it forward, is everybody fine with that?
Received for information.
Receive for information
for
only.
information.
Okay. And so that the other one was similar, I believe.
Same
It
with
was,
St.
correct.
John Ambulance.
Yeah. And the one that I wanted to talk about, where was it? Maybe it's not on this one. Maybe I'm getting mixed up on another one. Was something about gravel in here?
Well, if I may, Mayor Bridge, the aggregate policy,
Yeah,
Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, a blueprint
that's it
for
here. Yeah,
change,
it's got it
page
right here.
52.
Yep.
That's referenced in the county report later on.
Yes, that's what it is. And I would say read that, and if anybody wants questions on it, we're pursuing a lot of areas on the egg part. It's not a bad report, but there's areas that from the county level we're looking at some of the fundamental, and I think Gord, you're aware of this, some of the fundamental I think disconnects with the gravel industry as far as paying their fair share. Yeah, so I think there'll be more coming forward. I understand where they're coming from here and trying to explain the need for aggregate, and I have no problem with that and all that stuff, but I still feel that really the aggregate business at this point in time aren't paying their fair share to where the aggregate is drawn out of. And Mayor Dennis Lever from Bush Lynch is on the committee, and they've been looking at this for 4 years now, and they're coming closer to maybe a solution. It all started when MPAC just tripled their thing, which was probably going to start everybody thinking, and then now MPAC's almost to the point where they can't figure it out. And not only that, it's delayed any kind of increase. I don't think we've had an increase in the actual tonnage going out of the things for how many years? For 15 or so. So basically, these are the trucks that are pounding our roads. They're coming out. We have to have a fair share back to municipality just to repair those. And again, it's one of those situations where the majority of this, and I understand our neighbors gone through it, we've gone through it. we get this pushback of we really don't need any more gravel in our area, but Toronto needs it. So, we're sending it to Toronto. So maybe they should help pay for some of our road structure
Absolutely.
and whatnot. So hopefully we're getting to maybe the end of that series of discussions, and they're coming back, and we're in negotiations at the moment. So I read the report. 'Cause I think the report has a lot of good stuff in it, but there's more to be coming, as I say, as far as the true payment back to us. I don't think the report really gives that sense in there. I mean, they're just talking about how good it is for the whole economy of Ontario, which it is probably. But I like the land uses there. I thought maybe Judy, you'd have a comment on the land uses. I mean, we're way behind on the whole farm thing. We have no control over it. So, anyways, that's all I have on that little rant. And
Not your motion.
I think with the rest of it, I'm fine. And motion to accept them.
Sure.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? Yeah. Is this scribe thing working here, Bill? I don't know. Where do you have it for scribe?
Well, you're in the internet,
Well,
so we have.
I'm not. Okay, never mind. I'll just keep paging
Here you
it.
go. I'll fix it for you.
Oh, gosh.
I had to do that last time.
Oh, well, no, but aren't I supposed
might
to have
have
the
to
scribe
fix
along
mine.
That
the
was
side?
already last week.
The scribe should be along the side.
I think you're in internet. There it is.
Oh, I
But
didn't.
I opened in iBooks.
What's yours? Have you got scribe on the side?
No.
There you go.
Okay, it doesn't do what I'm wanting to do anyways. It doesn't do what the county's going to do.
Not yet.
Oh, I thought that was ready to go. Oh, there it is. Okay, all right.
So you
Gotcha.
right to there.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll let me scroll.
And I think we have the bylaw
Are you
officer.
thinking ahead?
We have a bylaw
Yes.
officer sitting in front of us, I believe. No, first of all, we have the committee minutes for receipt. We didn't have any. Then the bylaw officer. There you go, Harry.
Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. Cam wanted to bring this report forward to council for consideration. Basically, what happened back in 2005, all the county municipalities met to develop a common noise bylaw. This bylaw is enforced by the OPP. When Minto passed it, we passed it under a different number, different bylaw number, which just made it awkward on the enforcement end of things for essentially writing up tickets. They have to make sure you're quoting the correct number when you're writing them out. So essentially, it's the wording in the bylaw is exactly the same as what it was back in 05 when the council at the time passed it. And we're just basically repassing it under the same number as all the other municipalities in the county, just to make it nice and easy. So,
Housekeeping.
Any questions?
Oh, sounds logical.
Motion to accept. Councilor Dirksen, Councilor Anderson, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
perfect. Thank you.
Boy, you worked you hard there.
Took you longer to write the report
I
than.
know.
Sweat, which is coming off you.
Okay, proposed easement town of, who's running that one? You were doing that one, Bill?
Sure, Mayor Bridge, if I may. I'll try and be as short as it took to write the report too. So we're talking about a hydro easement potentially on Frank Lambier Court as shown in that map. It's about a 3-meter easement. This was something that came up urgently as development started to proceed on Frank Lambier Court, in particular the Weber development at the end of the road. In looking to service that with hydro, it was felt at the time that if they put in a pole structure, they would need easements. But subsequent to that, the Public Works Director has spoken to them, and they are costing an underground option. And if they go underground, we believe they don't need the easement. So our recommendation with you is to proceed. And if you read the bylaw, it says that it would only be executed after review by the solicitor. But what we're hoping for is if we don't need the easement, we don't provide the easement. But if we do, we're set up to do that because it might have to happen fairly quickly. So our hope is we don't need the easement, but this allows us to move forward with it if we need to provide it.
Do we have any say whether it's poles or underground, or is that totally their decision?
I think it's an issue of cost.
What they're considering cost.
So it's probably more money to put it in without poles.
Right.
It is.
So,
It's nicer.
but it is nicer, and then
And
who
more
will pay for that?
dependable.
So that'll be the negotiation.
Okay. Negotiation between ourselves and them, or they pay the entire freight.
We would hope that they would pay the entire freight.
Okay. And that they put it underground.
Yes.
But at your point, corrected. Oh well, the reliability of it.
Exactly.
The pole can't blow down. I mean, the ground can't blow down. But
Yeah.
Climate change.
Climate change. Yeah. Okay. Motion to accept that. Mr. Caldwell. Erickson, all in favor? Took a little longer.
I asked a question.
I don't. I didn't. Did you time it? Anybody time it? Okay. Moving along. Next up, you're again up.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. We received notice from the county that they're amending their official plan to implement community improvement policies. Remember that we just adopted our community improvement plan under the current county policies, which were 4.1.2 in their plan. And in the summertime, they started an amendment to what they said was bring their policies more in compliance with ours. Subsequent to that, I think it was Senator Wellington got started on some community improvement planning, and they asked the county to participate in a major project down there. And I think there was an interest at the county level of writing a more comprehensive policy that allowed them to participate, if they so choose to, in community improvement plans locally. So just a refresher, we cannot give grants or incentives to any private business unless we have a community improvement plan. And so our facade grants, structural improvement grants, if they ever come to fruition, tax incentives, those sorts of things. What the county is doing with this amendment is they're in the ball game now. And that's good news, really good news. I want to make sure you know that it doesn't affect your plan. We adopted our plan under policies in place back then. And so we should, I think, support the county with this initiative. Interesting, just for fun, I threw it in on page 2 of the report, that back when we reviewed did the 5-year review and we provided comment, council at that time passed that resolution right in the middle. And it said, would you mind rewriting section 4.12 to include community so that you could participate? And here it is now, 3 years later, they're listening to us. So it was nice to hear that, Mayor Bridge.
It's taking me that long.
So
Working on it though.
Our recommendation is that we support the amendments so long as they allow us to maintain flexibility in our community improvement plan, which I believe they do, that they are in the ball game and the wording is such that they can participate, which we believe it does. And finally, I don't know, some of you may recall we had this issue about, well, now we have town and county participating. What about the education proportion of the tax? And we actually lobbied a couple times at AMO and Good Roads about getting the province to do that more efficiently. Right now you have to do what is said in number 3 there. You have to do a feasibility study under the Tax Increment Financing Act. You have to obtain approval from the Lieutenant Governor and Council, and then sign a funding agreement with the province so that they will participate in your tax incentives. Well, for a municipality like Minto, that's a possibility, but we actually just did not have time to venture down that road. But now that the county's in the game, maybe they could do one of those for all of us and ask the province to participate. So that's the third recommendation in the staff report.
Any other questions? I just want to say from the county standpoint, this is good news. We're working towards something that I think will really benefit all the local tiers as well as the upper tier going forward on a lot of neat things. We had kind of a blue sky thinking today a little bit on this, what could come out of the county, and I can't get into too much detail yet. But it's just amazing what we might be able to create. I think I've said in the past, having a fund of some sort where we can go and get money for downtown derelict buildings and that type of thing. That's getting closer. It's getting closer. All this is coming together quite nicely as to how we can take properties that don't have a lot of tax value right now, are not getting much money, and making them worthwhile, at the same time producing jobs and everything else. And just by a little incentive at a local level, not getting in the business of being in the private. I don't want that. I don't want governments running things, but certainly by giving some money to people that want to get involved, that couldn't get involved maybe because of banking and other things. So I see a real light at the end of the tunnel. I don't think it's a train. I think it's looking good. And over the next probably this budget period time, I think we're going to have some solid ground to play with. So I give Minto a lot of credit for being one of the leaders to start this process down the road, even though Senator Wellington thinks that they did, but that's all right. Anyways, good. Motion to accept the
Sure.
Move it up to Mayor Faulkner, second by Councillor Caldwell. All in favor? Great. Done. This is the county aggregate. This I got way ahead of myself here, so there we are.
Mayor Bridge, if I may, this was just provided as information. We've been reviewing a lot of the provincial reports for you, but the Aggregate Resources Act changes we just hadn't gotten to. So when I saw this, I thought, well, let's share that with council. And if you're interested in more of it, I would recommend you have Mr. Salas come and explain it to you if you want to ask questions and so forth. But really, it's just for information and for you to receive. I wouldn't want to pretend to answer any questions in detail on it, except I think the treasurer could provide information on the tax implications if you wanted to hear about that.
Yeah, I'd probably just say what I said before. We're coming close to maybe when we get some more information that's hopefully happening very soon. Some of the meetings they're having. Once we get some hopefully positive news, then maybe we should have somebody come and kind of explain it all, how it affects us at our level. Other than that, I would say it's a good report to read. Somebody move. Councillor Elliott? Councillor Anderson? All in favor? I'll turn it over. Oh.
Mayor Bridge, then would part of the receiving of that to have someone come
I think wait
talk
though.
to you on it?
Yeah, I think once there's a. I
That'd
hope.
be interesting. Yes.
I was hoping Dennis's thing would come along, and I would probably wait to the new year.
Okay.
Because I think at that point in time we maybe have some of these things that more on the dollars and cents side confirmed one way or the other. But I definitely would ask somebody maybe in January to come.
All right, we'll make note in the minutes that the new year.
Okay, Treasurer, I'll turn that over to Councillor Caldwell.
Okay. The Treasury Department has 4 items on the agenda tonight, or this afternoon, excuse me. And I'll turn it over to Treasurer Duff for approval of accounts from November 12th.
Okay, thank you, Chair Caldwell. So first of all, we have our approval of accounts, and again, busy time of year, or perhaps we're seeing the bills come in from the previous busy time of year. So let's see, we're the LED street lighting project. I think all the paperwork is pretty much all done now, so we're starting to pay back part of the savings to real term, and we're getting the savings reflected in our bill from Westario. I think we've caught up. They have pretty accurate numbers for the number and types of fixtures, so that's been a long process, and Wayne Metzger certainly has been heavily involved in that. So we sent them $22,000, representing 3 months of their share of savings. We've also been busy with CATS basins, 45,000 in CATS basins, another 20,000 in sidewalks, and 28,000 in manhole fixes, which is a lot of the I&I work too. 25,000 in asphalt in Clifford, and we've been doing design work on the Jane Street project that we just put in for the OCIF, expressed some interest that we're moving forward to the next round. Normanby Town Line and the Bride Road project, so some contract administration there. And another 43,000 in various streets, which was one of the tenders that we did earlier in the year. And also at the arenas, we've been doing a lot of upgrades. It looks like primarily to brine pumps, about $36,000 in electrical upgrades there too. And I think those are the main highlights for this time.
Okay, are there any questions? No? Then the recommendation is that the council receives the treasurer's report dated November 12th, 2015 regarding approval of accounts, and approves the town of Minto accounts by department for October-November 2015. Would someone make that motion, please? Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Anderson. All in favor? And the motion is passed. And our next item on the agenda is the financing of the Minto Rural Health care.
Okay, so the next two reports are basically allowing the town of Minto to sign a financing agreement with Infrastructure Ontario. So this one, the $1.5 million, is the one that was requested by North Wellington Healthcare. So that was quite an involved process, but we got the approvals through. We're still waiting and talking to North Wellington Healthcare about some of the specifics, but this first report deals with signing the agreement between Infrastructure Ontario and the town of Minto to borrow the $1.5 million over 30 years. Now, with all the projects we're talking about this afternoon, they're not complete. So the way infrastructure goes, they don't actually fix a term until the project is complete. So we'll work this under what they call construction financing, and that's the way we did the meter project. So you borrow, you pay interest only on a monthly basis. And usually the interest rate is like incredibly low. When we did the meter project, it was only 1.59%. So anyway, it seems like that project's coming along very well. Last time I talked to them, they hope to have some tenants in very early in 2016. So anyway, so what will happen is we'll get copies of the progress payments to the construction company from North Wellington Healthcare, and then we'll draw on this. It's like a line of credit for now. So that's the first one.
Could you just explain the terms? Like, this is not the town of Minto borrowing them. We're borrowing the money on their behalf.
We
but
are,
it is,
yeah.
It's not costing us.
And that'll be in the second or third report, I guess, from here. Exactly. Okay. The idea, what we want in the agreement, is that, like, if we have a due date, that North Wellington Healthcare will advance us the money, and there should be no impact on taxpayers or impact on cash flow. Now, saying that, by signing this, the town of Minto is taking responsibility to pay back that loan. So you have to be aware of that too, that if somehow the hospital decided that we couldn't live up to its responsibilities, we couldn't enforce it, sure. I don't think it's a very big risk, but there's a risk. Yeah.
Yes, Mayor Bridge.
Well, I guess, and my point would be, we're not going to advance any money until we have that other agreement in place.
Exactly.
So we're not actually going to borrow any money. Well, we have the facility to borrow the money.
That's right.
But we're not borrowing it until we put the other in place, because we want to have that to be matched up.
Yeah.
So it was always this intention of the previous council, and hopefully this council, because we're approving it under this council, but that this would be a flow-through situation, that we would take the advantage of us being able to borrow funds at a reasonable rate in order to help out the institution, because we believe in the institution, but we weren't going to fund it in any way.
That's right. You're just giving us authority to sign it, but we're not signing right now.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
And as Mayor Bridge said, the main reason that they asked us to do it is because we have access to a more favorable rate than they would.
And also, it's complicated to borrow for capital purposes through the Ministry of Health.
Yep.
And that's another,
yeah.
Councillor Anderson probably knows very well too.
Yeah.
And Deputy Mayor Faulkner, you had a question?
Yeah, I think my question was fairly well answered through the mayor. Just in respect to, I guess, collateral, so to speak, when we sign this agreement, is it like a private first mortgage?
Yeah, and I discussed with our solicitors, and they kind of said, do you want to put in like collateral or whatever? And my response was, would that really be any good? And they said, no, but we had to ask you. So, so no, because again, how do you enforce things like that? You know, as the mayor knows, it's great, but
you have the organization behind you that
right,
and I believe they put $1 million in.
Oh yeah, at least
and at least of their own money as a foundation. So
directly,
anyway, so I have no qualms about that. I don't think that's a problem.
Okay.
I guess worst case scenario, it's a taxation situation. I thought of that. Put it back on the tax bill. Yeah. We don't need collateral.
Hey, is there any additional questions? Nope. Then the recommendation is the council receives the November 12th report from the treasurer regarding financing Minto Rural Health Care, and further the council considers bylaw authorizing the mayor and CAO clerk to execute all documents necessary to close the transaction in open session. Deputy Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Councillor Anderson. All in favor? The motion is passed. And the third item on the agenda is the financing of water and wastewater projects.
Okay, so this is virtually the same thing, only a lot more straightforward. This is carrying out our capital budget. It's for Ann Street and James Street, and our Public Works Director is working on that right now, and that one's at least all within our control. So, same deal. The project will not be completed in 2015, so we'll use the construction financing approach too.
Are there any questions? Okay, the recommendation is the council receives the November 12th Treasurer's Report regarding financing of water and wastewater projects, and further that a bylaw authorizing the mayor and CAO clerk to execute all documents necessary to close the transaction be considered in open session. Mayor Bridge, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? And the motion is passed. And the final one is the actual loan agreement and the financing of the Minto health care.
Yes, so as the mayor alluded, that's still kind of being negotiated. We have a draft agreement. It's in their hands now. They have to go through it, see if they're happy with the terms, also who's going to be signing on their behalf, and the timing that the agreement comes into place. So kind of with the same understanding that we'll have the authority to sign it, but we will not sign it until we're all happy. Yeah.
Right. Is there any questions? Okay, the recommendation is the council receives the November 16th report from the treasurer regarding financing of Minto rural health care, and that a bylaw authorizing the mayor and CAO clerk to execute all documents necessary to close the transaction be considered in open session. Deputy Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Councillor Dirksen. All in favor? And the motion is passed.
And there's one thing I have to tell you. I received a phone call yesterday from the bureaucrat in charge of the December 13 ice storm assistance, and I think we're actually going to get the rest of the money in 2015. We're going to get another $42,000, bringing the total up to $71,000. So I'm very happy with that.
You,
and
Gord.
well, good for me. And Deputy Treasurer Forbes and Roads Foreman McIsaac, we've all put a lot of work into
There's
this
been
one.
a lot of
Probably
work
more
into
than
this.
these other projects.
And we congratulate you. We know that the work and the effort you put into this in your department, and thank you so much on behalf of Minto taxpayers for making it successful.
Well,
Listen, thank
hope we
Mike
finally
and,
get it.
And
Lori
Mike and
too.
Lori as well, yes.
Thank
Yeah,
them for
I
us.
will. Sure. All right, thanks.
Thank you. And I turn the chair back to Mayor Bridge.
And we have other businesses disclosed, and I think I had a list there. We'll go to. We'll start at Mary Lou at that end.
Okay, I just, I'm sure we all attended Legion services somewhere on November 11th.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say what a wonderful service it was in Harrison. And the turnout was phenomenal. The weather, I'm sure, helped with that. To see the school children there just was heart-wrenching. It was a beautiful service. And I just want to thank our community for being so involved in something so important.
We had a great speaker in the evening.
We did. An excellent speaker. It was a great day all the way through.
And Ron, how did Palmerston go?
Wonderful. Everything was exactly what you said happened in Palmerston too. And Chad spoke that night, Chad Martin. Oh, good. Really, really good job. Did a history of who was involved in Palmerston, and all the way back before Palmerston was even a town. People were involved. Really, really interesting. And what you say is true. It was a good community support, and I think it was a
Site was had jerry rigged, but it went
and
well.
that's the Padre spoke on about the site and how it was. Even in the morning, they were still working hard to get it in position, and how James Street and the noise, and he referred it back to when during the wars when everything was exploding, everything blew apart, and everything, and then we fixed it. So it was quite moving how he brought that forward too, and the place looked great.
Good. I'll
Thank
pass
you.
that on
Thank
to
your
the
county.
Yeah. I know they worked hard at that
They
and
did.
to make sure that it was there from
Worked
day
right
one.
up to the end.
I'd just like to thank Judy for all her playing, both in Clifford and all the different times. How many times did you do that? 5, 6,
5, 6, 7 altogether.
7 altogether, and it always brings
It
a
was
tear to my eye. And
The weather was beautiful, though. It helps a lot.
so, anyways, it was a good effort by everybody, and by all means, we just cannot ever let. We're seeing it, unfortunately, continuing with our people we've lost in Afghanistan and other places. So it's just something in Paris and just scary stuff. But it's going to be with us. But to remember, we sacrificed in order for us to be here today. Good stuff. Ron.
Okay, thank you. And along that same vein, I got a beautiful thank you back from our guest speaker, Major Fiona Bell Haynes, thanking us for her hospitality, and it meant a lot to her as well as a major in the armed forces, current serving major, to speak to her hometown and what it meant to her in her development of her career. Along that, and she also couldn't believe how good this main street looked with the banners and the new light standards and whatnot. Corollary to that is I had a wonderful visit from an staff sergeant of mine in East Algoma, who was the Poppy Chair for Collingwood. Took one look at the main street and said, we want to do that in Collingwood. And so I took her around to meet Gary Thackeray. So on that same note, while we were around speaking to Gary Thackeray for her to get the program to take back to Collingwood, Mr. Thackeray asked me about light standards to do all the extra banners that are coming forward. And the question was, are we putting those same light standards north of the lights between Arthur Street and William Street on Elora?
I said to Gary, I don't know, and we talked about him getting together with roads department and finding out if there's any areas that we can do something.
Yeah.
One other thing we brought up was, and I, no disrespect, but I looked in our flag pole at the Senate tab's terrible.
It's
We
bad.
should be looking at possibly, and I would put it. I would probably look at it. I think it's would that be Parks and Rec's budget? But have a look at see what it would cost to put a professional looking flagpole up. It's all rusting, and the only way to lower the flag is take the whole thing down and take the flag and put it back up. So it's manpower as well, intensive. Same as what we had out in front of here before we got the gift from the county.
Yeah, I would gladly help look into that, because I'm looking at flagpoles, professional flagpoles for the plowing match, and then having them pre-sold so that they would move to the person's property after the plowing match is over.
You can probably get prices through the county because they've done many of them.
Okay.
Because they've done the libraries.
This guy will give me a heck of a deal.
Yeah, well, that's fine, or whatever, if you have somebody. But we should look into that. I just throw that out
and
there.
The final thing is we're I believe there's some 35 people heading to Coburg this weekend to compare notes with last year's plowing match people from Finch, Ontario, and next year's plowing match, or following year 17 from Huron County. So we're going down to compare notes and see where we're at. We think we're in great shape, but we'll find out after the weekend.
Yeah, you can join us at 6:45 in the morning if you'd like to.
5:45.
Oh, 5:45.
We're leaving at 5:45
I guess I missed
a.m.
the bus. Dang. Shoot. Oh,
That's all I have, sir.
okay.
My third time here.
All good for you guys. I'm gonna,
Get to know one.
here. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going. Okay. Ron.
3 things people have talked to me about this week, and some I agree with, some we've solved. One was blowing the snow in the park in Palmerston. We do that, and we're going to continue doing that, I assume, right, Brian?
That's correct.
Yeah, on the sidewalks, because they said a lot of people use them. So I believe we still do that. We did it all last year.
There's no snow this year, but that's
Leaf pickup, again, they were asking me about that. I know it's an annual thing. I'll bring it to council again. I suggested they continue to take it out until they're not allowed to take it out. Saw people raking their lawns today and putting it in bags, but what do they do after today, Brian?
Today it was the last day, so if you want it left, up to council, if you want it left open for another week.
The weather's been pretty good.
So maybe we could think about doing something like that, because I believe there's a lot of people. The problem some of them have is they rake the leaves up, but they don't have the vehicle or transportation. They try to arrange a truck or something to take it out. One girl had 13 bags, and she finally got it out. That's a question. No issues. We can just automatically do that. Another thing that was brought forward, and this one I'm starting to agree with pretty good. As you know, I walk every day in town, and when you're trying to cross the street now, you've got to wait every time, or even when you're driving your car and you pull to a stop sign. I talked to several people. Come to the stop sign in Palmerston, you're continually waiting to get out. The traffic is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe now let's bring forward Bob Cherry's thought about a light in Palmerston, crosswalk. There has to be something, because I'm not concerned about somebody like myself so much. I'm concerned about the elderly people. You see them, and they'll stand with their cane and wait and can't get across the street. And not everybody's polite enough to stop and wait for them to get across. Quite often you have to run out into the street and kind of time yourself to get across. And I kind of just asked Belinda Quick, and this was in 2007, the average daily traffic going through that main street of Palmerston was 4,984 vehicles. So that's 2007. I would suggest now it might even be double that, because of TG Minto has developed 600 employees or
Is that
plus.
per day, Ron?
That's per day.
4,000.
Yeah, and then we now have the Tim Hortons, and we have that industrial site all built up. So
It's 5,300 this year.
5,300. Okay, and that's right at the Main Street area. She had several spots picked out. So 50. So it is up
10%. So the way that could go down, Ron, is we'd have to request county to look at it, because it's county. It's not MTO, it's county. And the county, in fairness, they were very anti-crosswalks a few years ago. I think they're, without getting too much hope up there,
Yeah.
they're starting to. There's new technology and there's some new things going on that maybe this window is getting a little bit more there, I guess, because I know in Harrison we put the infrastructure underground when we did the road, just in case we wanted to do something down by the max. So if you want to leave that with me, I will take it to roads and find out what the procedure is. I think they would have to do a new traffic count, physical traffic count, and I believe then they would look at it from that standpoint. Now you have to understand, the county wouldn't put them in. There would be our cost to put them in.
I understand.
And crosswalks, and as I say, this new technology. The way it was explained to me was it's the old crosswalks with the things, bars across. It gave the people a little bit more of a false sense of security, and I think one of the concerns was, especially with little kids, they figure, it's a crosswalk. I press the button, I just go, and somebody comes down and hits them, because it's less than a light. I tell you, a light's $1 million. By the time you put them in, and then you ask us what is our maintenance on the one in Harrison? It's
10, 15,000.
yeah, because on top of that, with accessibility rules, now you need the sounding and everything else. So this one they were looking at recently on one of the situations we had in the county actually it was for a blind person as well. So it had some sounding, and it was more of a portable thing that basically you press the button and you wait for the traffic to actually stop, but it has a flashing thing for them to stop. So it puts more onus on the pedestrian. That's not just don't press the button, we'll cross, because you got to crosswalk and hope somebody stops. It's a little different, and it's not as much money. I think that one was around 10 grand. So whether we can, so let me look at it.
There are thoughts. I've seen,
but I don't know what the traffic count thing is. I mean, I think it's getting to more of the point that it would be up to us to look at it from a budgetary item for us to be the one that pays the cost. And is the solution, is it going to be the right solution? Yeah.
And it's difficult at the L&M or Foodland, I should say, Foodland and William Street there. You get out, you can't see.
Mhm.
You've got to edge out, and again, you talk about safety. You're waiting, and then finally the traffic.
Are you talking a crosswalk or how? Like you're talking about vehicle traffic or crossing?
Crosswalk won't work for you.
You have a flashing light there now.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to be.
Well,
So anyhow, that's something you could look at for vehicle too, and I think with that stoplight would be the answer because it's got both.
well, if you're talking a stoplight, you're talking $1 million. That's what we were told that would be at White's Road if you did it instead of a
But
roundabout.
you can sit there for a long time too, trying to get out by White's Road.
That's
you
why
can
it's
take-
that's
yeah.
why it's going to be a roundabout.
Oh,
It was
okay.
either a roundabout or a
Or
light,
s-
and they're both.
Well, I'm thinking the other end of White's Road up in Palmerston. When you're trying to come up
Oh, yeah,
by
that- by
stop
the high
23,
school.
you can sit there forever to try and get out.
Well, I guess the good news, we're getting traffic. That
Yep.
means we're getting busier and bigger, and we're gonna
At
and we'll have the
3:30
money.
at 3:30 when TG Minto get out of there, there's no movement.
Well, that's
That's
but
good.
but
We
it's
gotta-
only 15 minutes or
we
10
gotta-
minutes. I
We
mean,
got a-
whatever.
No, I'm just saying we got a mini traffic jam. It's
Yeah,
just
I know.
something we never
It's
had.
just not we'd have.
It's a great problem.
Great problem to have. Okay, anything? Oh, and who else I have?
Thank you.
Is that it? Ron? Okay, and anybody else? What I had one thing I just wanted to, and you have, Corey, you're next, Bill.
Sorry.
No, I'll go last.
All right. Mayor Bridge, maybe Brian wants to come forward, but we do have a new water and sewer operator started as of Monday. His name is Connor Bailey, and Public Works Director Hanson can give you a little information on Connor.
Yes, Connor comes from Oshawa area, and actually we had 81 applications in total come in, and we ended up with 4 really good ones. So it was a hard choice that Gordon, Todd Rogers, and myself went through the process and ended up to be a really good guy.
Moving to the area.
He's going to move to the area. He has to be within a half an hour alarm call. So
And does he
when
have
he's on
family?
call, yeah, he's married with 2 kids. One I think's 9-month-old, so fairly new. Pretty new little girl. So if you see him around,
Yep.
welcome him
Sure.
to town for sure.
And then second, Mayor Bridge, I sent out an email to council on your election to the Western Warren Caucus Economic Development Committee, but I had a little bit of feedback that maybe you could explain a little bit about what that was all about.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a new project that they've got going. You might be aware of. You might have heard the term SWIA before, which was the Economic Development Group. Through various reasons or why they decided to disband. So that leaves us very short on economic development in what I call the Southwest region, which is from Simcoe, anything west of the GTA. And when we had our meeting with the Premier, with the Western Wardens Group, and the separated cities, that would be Regional Waterloo and Kitchener and Waterloo and Cambridge, Guelph, right down to Windsor, London, Sarnia, she felt very strongly that we should be having a sort of a single voice talking about different things. So we've had a project on the go called SWIFT, which you're all kind of familiar a little bit with, and which is sort of tied with economic development. But we really thought we needed to organize economic development in that whole region. So my job going forward will be to organize the Economic Development Committee. So it'll be a brand new committee, and work with the separated cities and the regions. So my first task is to go around and talk to all the mayors and separated cities in the next month or so, and try to get some buy-in there. And then we would organize through our one of the big things is most counties now have economic development officers and whatnot. They didn't have a few years back when SWIA started. So I think what we really want to do is employ some of them to be involved and maybe work on a project. We have one of the big other things that have been going on would be transportation's a big issue. The major cities have been talking about, and I was invited to a meeting the other day about high-speed internet, high-speed rail from Windsor to Montreal and that type corridor, and they're working on that. But we in the rural areas would need to be connecting somehow to that, so we would need bus systems. That's one thing that we thought we could work together in the 16 counties. Gas is another one. We need gas to the last mile as well. I think gas and fiber optic for our farming industry, which is very important to our area, has to be there. So we have to get out there to the governments and find that money, that some of that infrastructure money. That we don't want it all be soaked up in the GTA. We want to have a single voice so we can get some of these bigger projects going. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I sometimes wonder whether I should take any more on, but this is one of the things I got passion for, and I was voted by my peers to do it. So I think we'll drive on, and I might look at this table and ask for more help as far as if you want to do some public things that I maybe won't be able to attend, and maybe if you could attend in my place, I would certainly like to maybe ask for help there. I try to get as much things as possible, as you know, and I hate not to be able to have a representation from council at events. I think it's very important that we're out there in the community. So I'm hoping to engage you a little bit more than I have in the past, because it'll be taking some of my time up in the initial stage, because I have to do a lot of this running around over the next few months, but then it may die down a bit.
On behalf of council, congratulations.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I was just going to suggest that the Ontario Federation of Agriculture, assuming you know that,
Yes.
they are working.
They're
on
big
that as
players
well.
with Western Wardens, and I see them as a big opportunity to be part of this coalition.
Yeah, sure, because
Yep.
they have good connections. And
Yeah, we've worked on a
working on
couple
this a
projects
while,
with
so.
them and the Western Wardens, and Connecting Links was one we worked on and together, and we're able to get that back. So
Great.
And yeah, we're looking forward to that, and I think that gives them an opportunity to be a voice too. Where certainly agriculture sector is so big, and we had a presentation today actually at a region, and I want to bring that presentation to you sometime in the future. And it really a lot of great numbers. We worked with a lot of the farm groups and to come up with these numbers in Waterloo and Wellington County, and it just blows my mind what's going on since 2012, 2014. There's 581 new agricultural businesses started in Wellington County in those last 2 years. There's some amazing numbers, and some of the farm starts and where we're going.
And
so,
world-class ones, too.
world-class ones, and yeah, so I want to bring that. I want to have that presentation to you because it was an amazing presentation. I don't know, Judy, have you seen it? It's just out.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, it's just out. We were part of the pilot with them, and we worked with Waterloo County because we thought we had a good synergy there, and Yana worked through our department as well.
So did you say 581 new jobs in Wellington?
New agricultural businesses, over
businesses
2,000 jobs
since 2012 in Wellington County alone.
into 2012 to 2014.
Wow.
I was blown away with it. Anyways, but those are a lot of neat things. So
It's really
yes.
Quickly, I want to thank you. I know how busy you are. The more we get involved as a council, and part of your being warden and part of you being Minto mayor, probably first thing in your heart comes back to our community, and I appreciate what you're doing, George, because that's a big task to take on. You already had a big task to do, so where I can help you, I will.
Yep. Well, thanks everybody.
Yep, for sure.
And
Last thing.
Oh yeah.
My last thing pertains to budget, and I apologize.
Oh yeah.
Your budget binder will not be a budget binder,
No, it'll be on here.
so it's going to be on here. Just if you must have paper, we can give you paper, but it won't be as nice as the last one. It would just be a thick chunk of newsprint. So
Piece of bark.
or print. So that's coming out on Friday at the latest. It will be published on our website, just like your agenda, and it will be available to the media and to anyone who wants to download it. They can see the whole package that council gets when it reviews the budget. So
And what's our first meeting again?
the meeting is Tuesday at
24th.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock,
24th?
the
Yeah, 1
24th.
o'clock.
Yep.
And then we have a bit of an issue with the January meeting. Councillor Caldwell has a conflict now, and as chair of finance, I suggested we discuss briefly the date, which was to be January 26th. And she would like to move it.
If possible, to either the 19th. Now, the 19th in the evening, we do have a council meeting, so it would be a long day, but if that's,
In the afternoon, the 19th.
Right, well, the afternoon on the 26th as
Oh,
well it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, that's January.
that's January, correct.
So-
Yeah, not right before Christmas.
No, I know. I just.
So
I don't think
January
I-
the 19th
is
as
our
opposed
number
to
one
the 26th.
What day of the week is that?
I'd be happy with that.
Would you?
Yes.
Mayor Bridge, if we did start at 1, we would provide a break, obviously, for dinner, and then could move into council after that, assuming you were done in the 4 or 5 or 6 hours leading up to your normal council start time. I would hope you would be. So maybe we could even start at 2 or 1:30, because
Even 1 o'clock.
What are we doing first on it? Just
This will be the capital budget.
capital first.
in January will be capital.
Yeah,
And
the operating
We
budget
are
will be on
getting
this
better
one.
at it, so I think it'll be each time a
Operating's
little
in
more
March,
efficient.
right?
So
No, the
I would-
operating is next week.
Or next week. Yeah, that's right.
I'd like to have it a little later than because I have 2 county meetings, but I can get out of there. F and P at 1 is usually done at 2, 3. Is 3 going to be too late?
I would think so. I don't know how long the capital budget takes.
It varies, if I may, Mayor Bridge. So, I mean,
I know we've done
I
it.
could suggest we could start at 2 would probably be good. I don't know if that helps you, but
Well, I'll just have to come late, or 1. I'll find out what's on that. That's probably one of our budget ones. That'll be our final budget one before.
We'll know closer to the time what's on our
We're
council.
moving it to that first week of February is too late.
Yeah, I'm going
we
to be
have
away.
other conflicts.
I'd
Okay.
rather not.
So, if I may, then we'll put it for that day, but try and start as late as possible. Is that
Can it not? It's no good being on a Wednesday, or no? Wednesday's no good. Sorry. No. It's
the reason we choose Tuesdays? Is generally councilors are clear that
We've cleared Tuesdays.
Now we got 20. I'm available 20, 21st, both those days, Wednesday and Thursday. But okay, well,
I'm
we'll figure it
available the 20th.
out. I just wonder,
20th,
to be honest with you,
What about you, Mary Lou?
be honest with it, what I'm a little worried about you having it on the day of the council. I mean, the council could be hard on you because, and I think I remember, and maybe it's getting better, but did we not do capital? We had to do it in 2 different sessions one year because we never got it through it all. But if we had it on a Wednesday, we could start, and you have nothing at the end. Then if you could get it all done.
The last meeting was from 1:30 to 4:30.
Oh, so that wasn't too bad. We got better, as you say. We got better at it, didn't we?
3 hours.
But
So even if we were 3 to 6 and then had dinner hours from
I
6
could make
to
3.
7.
I could make 3 on
There
the
we go.
Tuesday, no problem.
And if we had to, we always have a public open house. So you can always, if we need an hour at a council meeting after that to finish up capital, it's not hard to insert that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if it's 3 o'clock on the Thursday or the Tuesday, that's fine.
Does that suit everybody?
You can do it.
So 3 o'clock on Tuesday, January
19th.
19th. If you
Wonderful.
want to do a motion or
What is direction? I don't.
direction? Okay. That's all the things I have.
Okay.
The damage that I can
All
do.
right, that's good. I only have one thing that I want to talk about, and it's next meeting is December 1st, I believe. Am I right?
Yep.
December 1st. It's an afternoon meeting.
Yep.
And I would like to have everybody out to the house afterwards, department heads and their spouses, and the council and their spouses, and the press if they'd like to come on December 1st. So hopefully we'll be done. We'll try to make our meeting done around before 6-ish or something like that. And we'll head out there and we'll have some light hors d'oeuvres and fellowship.
And if you would like us to bring anything,
I
please
don't-
let us know.
I think we're fine. I did discuss it with my wife.
Yeah, last time you left her to do it all after
Well,
promising her to
you know
be here all
what?
day.
She loves that kind of stuff.
Good
We
one.
hear her.
I know.
Well, you're
I've
in
got
there,
that under control. I got that under control. But just bring yourselves. Okay, it's my opportunity to pay back for all your hard work. Okay, so I'm a little bit ahead of the game. Usually I forget about it until a little, then I tell Sue. Right? I've told Sue. So she does know.
That is
She
December.
said yes. Okay, that's what I got. That's all I got. Okay. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, that the Committee of the Whole convenes a regular council meeting. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Dirksen. The Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motion made in committee. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott, the bylaw number 500105 to provide the regulation prohibition of unusual noises or noises likely to disturb the public or any prevention of public nuisances introduced, read, and first, second, and third time passed. Open council seal this corporation. All in favor? Boy, that just about covers the world, doesn't it? Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councillor Caldwell, bylaw number 2015-92 to grant the easement to Ontario Hydro Networks, Inc., Palmerston Industrial Park be introduced, read, and first, second, and third time passed. Over council seal corporation. All in favor?
If needed.
If they need it. Moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Councillor Anderson, bylaw number 2015-93 to authorize the mayor and treasurer to enter in the financial agreement with Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation, Minto Rural Health, be introduced, read, and first, second, and third time passed. Open council seal corporation. All in favor?
Amended.
Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, the bylaw number 2015-94 to authorize the mayor and treasurer to enter into a financial agreement with Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Incorporation, Water and Wastewater, be introduced, read, first, second, and third time passed. Open council and seal the corporation. All in favor? Okay. Moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Dirksen, that the bylaw number 2015-95 to authorize the mayor and clerk, CEO clerk to enter into a grant loan agreement with North Wellington Health Care Corporation be introduced, read, and first, second, and third time passed. Open council seal corporation. All in favor? Are you not voting?
I'm in favor. Sorry, I'm in favor.
Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott, the bylaw number 2015-96 to confirm the actions of the Council of the Corporation of Town of Minto be introduced and read, and first, second, and third time and passed. Open council seal the corporation. All in favor? Attaboy, Ron. Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councillor Caldwell, the Council of Town and Mayor adjourned to meet again to call the mayor. All in favor? Good meeting, everybody. Thanks for coming. All right, everybody's got something on the go.
4:30.
There you go.
And we'll see you tonight for the lighting of the.
I won't be there.
Okay, I'll see you another time.
Neither, sorry.
Oh, I know, and you'd rather be there.